Hey guys, it's Bales. I'm looking at player models of PGA, and this is a tool that we're about to release, and I wanted to create a little tutorial of how to use this tool and explain some of the data that we have and what we think is important. So I won't go over everything here, but I'll just give you the general idea. So we're looking at player models, a grid. This is a test model that I have up. We can move these sliders. I'll talk about those in a bit, but just to go over some of the data, you can see players, click on their name, see their player card, and some more data. Pro trends, which are angles that we've found that have historically led to value. So Stenson has a 2% implied probability of winning, or over 2%, which has historically led to value, is a recent birdie score of at least 75. And so on. Odds of winning the tournament. This is just a probability that is deduced from the Vegas odds. And then long-term form. So we have all of this data, which I'll explain in a second, and it's all sorted into different time frames. So we have long-term, which is the past 75 weeks. That's really, we're trying to get a sense of who that golfer is, regardless of the course, regardless of the competition or the weather, just how good they are, how far they drive the ball, their driving accuracy, their putting, and so on. Recent form is more, are they playing well right now? And that's actually shown to be pretty predictive in golf. I'm not entirely sure why. It could be that the sample size of strokes is pretty high. It could be that golf is such a mental game that having confidence going into a tournament is really important. But the past 6 weeks of a golfer's data set is shown here, and you can compare that to long-term form. So lots of times these things will match up pretty well. So you can see that Stenson over the past 6 tournaments has been driving the ball 294.6 yards on average, and it's 294.5 over the past 75 weeks. Other golfers might be swinging, swinging a bit better of late or worse, and then you could potentially see if a guy is injured, if he's not hitting the ball as far. You can also see how well a guy is golfing based on his driving accuracy, which we have here. Putts per round, scrambling, field percentage, which is the competition, level of competition, and then you can see eagles, birdies, bogeys, missed cuts, and then how they do on par 3, 4, 5. You can also see data relevant to the course. So this is specific to the course this week. Weather, which will change once we get tee time. So right now it's the same for everyone. When tee times come out, we match up the weather every hour. I think it might actually be every 20 minutes versus when the guy is teeing off. And sometimes you'll have really bad weather in the morning, and then it gets a lot better in the afternoon, and those guys in the afternoon have obviously a huge advantage. Then we have all of our fantasy specific data for the past month and past season, which is a running 12 months. So you can use all this data, look at it. I think there's just a lot of value in having this in front of you, and then you can model it. So some of the things that we've found to be important, long-term adjusted round score, which is the reason it's adjusted is we're displaying the actual average round for a golfer, but behind the scenes we're adjusting that for the courses that they're playing and the competition. So if a guy shoots 8 under on a very difficult course and the field is no one else is better than 1 under, then that's obviously going to be much more impressive than a guy who shoots 8 under on a really easy course, and there's other guys around him, or he doesn't win the tournament. So we're trying to adjust for that because guys play different tours, they play in different tournaments, and just looking at how they're shooting in terms of strokes is going to be a bit misleading. So we adjust all of this stuff actually for that, which I think is really important. So long-term adjusted round score, just how good they are as golfers, is really important. So that is going to generally get a lot of weight. The other stats that we found to be important over both long-term and recent are greens in regulation. Scrambling is probably a little bit worse than those prior two, but still important. Birdie score, so guys who, obviously some golfers are going to be better than others, but some are also naturally more conservative, so they'll have more pars, whereas some volatile golfers, which is really what you want in fantasy, so you can get those birdies, they'll have a wider distribution where they have more birdies, but also more bogeys, which is actually preferable to all pars. So weighing those stats heavily, you can do it over recent adjusted round, recent greens and regulation, recent scrambling field score, also important, the level of competition that they face. Pro trends, those are based on the trends that we have here, which I've shown to be quite predictive, one of the more important factors. And then the course is an interesting one. We found it to be not that predictive in terms of fantasy value, just because most guys don't have a huge course history going in. You can look at that. A lot of people weigh it a lot. We don't. The odds are also very interesting. We found that they're come very close to being priced into salaries, so a lot of our models won't weight this heavily. You can. Generally, guys who are higher priced are going to obviously have higher odds of winning, and those guys have offered value, so there's some trend there. But with salaries coming close, at least compensating for the Vegas odds, we found that it's not that important, or at least something that maybe shouldn't be considered as much in your model. Wind score, you can also adjust for temperature, not as important, but the wind definitely very important. And then our fantasy specific stats, like their long-term plus minus, or how their salary has changed. So when you find a model that you like, you update. The plus minus here will change. So that went up to 2.52, which means that historically the top 5% of golfers in this model, and these ratings changed when we updated this, they've scored 2.52 points above what we'd expect based on their salaries. So that model is okay. You can probably get higher, but that will determine how each player is rated over here. Then you can take these ratings from your model, which you'll immediately know if it's good or not. You can optimize a lineup, so that will give you the true optimal, mathematically the best possible lineup based on your model. You can also build a lineup just as you would on DraftKings, and you can generate multiple lineups here. So I'll have a tutorial specific to this, but that's the philosophy behind what we're doing here at Player Models, really giving you the data and tools and the ability to test so that you can create a model, and then ultimately lineups, which you can save to your My Lineups page and upload to DraftKings.